Hello, my friends. It really feels like I'm trying to hammer in something here because it keeps being here in my face that this wants to be spoken, and that's why I do it. I used to be very afraid of that because, they're afraid of the consequences, people wouldn't like me, and all that stuff. But as I've been just sharing from this energy that fills me up from the inside out, it's kind of has washed that away in its own way, at least to a certain extent. So that's a good thing, because then I don't need to hold myself back anymore. But the title today, it's basically because when I do talk about heaven on earth, the kingdom of heaven is spread all over the earth, and man cannot see it. It feels like that's kind of the core of what I keep sharing from, that we are not aware that that which we want, peace, love, you name it, you have your own list of um, deliciousness, what you really want to experience in your life. That is what we really long for. And I see that when I mention that in my titles, that there's a lot more views. I'm not a big YouTuber at all, but I do notice that certain words that I use, that it attracts more viewers. So, of course, what does that tell me? That people want this. I want it. You want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening, right? And the question is for many, well, how is that going to happen? And so what I want to just share again, that if we really want peace, we need to let go of everything that is not peace. And that's not a small task. And it starts with being peaceful towards ourselves, loving towards ourselves. But as long as we want to hold on to the way the matrix is unfolding, there's more wars happening. There's rumors of war, many of them, and there's real wars. And many people don't want to support that anymore. But yet, what choice do we have when we have leaders who want war? And I think it's probably obvious to most people now that war seems to be very high on the list for many leaders. It's like how the world, we used to hear money makes the world go around, right? And it seems in a way that war makes this world that we live in go around. Without war, I don't know what people would do. It's so ingrained in us to live in combat, in battle, in other wrong, me right. It's so, so deep in us. And that's probably why I keep speaking it here, to just shine some light on what we're doing, because most of us do it very unconsciously. We think it's the right thing. We think it's the right thing to say that they're wrong. And we're not aware that by doing that, we are doing what we say they are doing wrong. It's just perpetuating what we don't want. What do we want? We want heaven on earth. We want peace. We're tired of this. We're tired of this war zone in whatever flavor it shows up. And there really is only one way, and that is to stop engaging in that energy. It's the energy of the matrix, it's the energy of the mind, it's the energy of duality, and it is not the energy of love and peace. It is not, that's not here. Love and peace has its own frequency. And we can choose to disengage from it and then go and try and create peace where there is no peace. There's only duality. There might be short experience of peace and then there's war, right? It just comes one after the other in whatever version. And it's the same with love. We love and then we stop loving. We certainly have stopped loving ourselves, most people. And all that we do is we leave the frequency or the timeline, if we can use that, or the expression of love, which is everywhere. And it is something we need to keep tuning into. This is my own practice. When I find myself, going with the mind, which wants to create a story. That's what minds do. I have done this enough to at least catch it sooner and then choose to not engage in that anymore. And that is my invitation over and over, that we start practicing not engaging with a frequency, with an expression of life that we don't want to experience or live anymore. And that's where there's the timeline where it's kind of moving in two directions now. And if we don't choose the one of love and oneness and peace, we by default choose the one of duality. Even if you say, I don't want war, if you're still engaging in it in some way and still think that if somebody comes to the top as a leader, they are pro-war, you are still engaging in it. And I know this is probably very, very hard to grasp. It's a little hard for me to even speak it, but we need to just stop engaging in it. And I do not think that my messages here are for everyone by far. This is for people who really feel that they're done with duality, they're done with the matrix, they are aware that the matrix can never be fixed. It's an illusion, for goodness sake. It's a dream, it's a story that's made up in the mind, projected out. The best way to stop this outward projection is to stop feeding that story in the mind. And your mind will tell you, yeah, but if we don't do that, then that will happen, or that will happen. And you're irresponsible if you don't do that. I've heard people tell me that sometimes as a comment on my YouTube videos. And I understand this is how it works in the matrix, in the mind, in the duality. That's how it works. The option to let it all go is not even there. It's like, no, we have to do this because then we'll have peace, or then things will get better. They won't get better. They may look like they get better. I mean, just look back in history. War, war, war. War, war, war. Battle, disagreements, murder, cheating, greed, all that stuff. It's all the matrix. It is a dream and it's happening in our minds. You may have heard that. What story is that where they say if you see a flag waving somewhere, is it the wind, or gosh, I wish I could remember it exactly, or is it the mind? It basically is the mind. It's the mind that is making the flag move. And that's how it is with everything. And it is super hard to understand that. I have not realized that fully myself, but I have realized it enough to know it somehow, that this part of me knows that. And as I stay with that and do not give my energy to these other things other than just observing it, it's like observing the flag moving. But I don't have to say this flag is wrong and that flag is right. No, just observing it and then staying here. staying with the longing of what we want to experience next. It looks to me that we have come to the end of a certain expression, which would be the matrix, and we're ready for something else. There might be people who really want to see if they can create a more beautiful matrix. I would support that. I mean, why not have a better dream if it's possible? And it may be possible, although as long as the dream is based in a matrix that is duality, it's the mind, it's good versus bad and good versus evil and all that stuff, you will have both sides. And that's why it's going to be hard to really make a substantial change that will last. But there is something that lasts, and it's because it's everywhere all the time and always has been. And it looks to me that the matrix, the grip of the matrix that has all gotten us, it's like these suggestions that have been coming in for so long, that has softened. And that, in my experience, has made me more able to tune in to heaven on earth, which is what we want. I hope this resonates with you, even just a little bit, or even just enough to have a curiosity to stop engaging with the outer drama, with the outer battles, with the outer right and wrongs, and hoping that this person will be able to do what this person can't. You see, it's always this, right? Duality, this, that. But we want to let go of that. Not let go. We live in it. We can't just fully let it go. That's impossible. But we can stop engaging in it with our minds and with our emotions, which is how this thing keeps alive. So if you want to join me in that, take a day, a couple of days, and just practice it. Just practice and see what happens if you don't engage in it emotionally, mentally. When you don't try and justify one or the other or yourself or whatever it is, just as an experiment. I mean, what could be lost? What is it scary to even try it? Are you afraid something bad will happen? And those are the layers, of course, that we all need to meet in ourselves. And they're all in us. We have them all. It's all the matrix. But just be curious and see what it's like to not do that for a while, even for an hour, and then see what that's like. And I know it's not easy, especially in the beginning, because the drive to engage is super, super strong. And that's why when I talk to my friends or my clients or whatever, I could just see that the push or the pull to engage is so tempting. And there is such an investment in it that for many people, it's not so easy. So if that is true for you and you would like to learn it, reach out. You can set up a time with me. We can do a session and we can practice it together just for you to experience what it will be like. And I will put the information down in the description below. I'll put the link there if you want to reach out and set up a time with me just to explore that and just give yourself that time to see what happens if you don't engage in the matrix for an hour or for a day. So I hope you give yourself the time to practice that, because that is, in my experience, the fast track to heaven on earth.